Hey guys, I'm back with another reading vlog because it is ReaD&Dathon, and I am so excited because this is a readathon that I created with my friend Tara over at the 3 Bookshelves. If you don't know what this is, I'm going to link above me to my announcement video, so then that way you can get caught up. But you're going to be following me along for the next 2 weeks as I read and create a character based on what I'm reading. So to give you a really basic idea of what this readathon is it's based around character creation in Dungeons & Dragons. And there's also experience points and leveling up, and it's just all very exciting and very interactive, so I am pumped to bring you along with me as I hopefully level myself up. But I'm just coming home from work. I had a little bit of an issue with my TBR, so that is why you are not seeing a TBR video. I have tried to film it on 2 different days, 2 different times, and both times my audio was lost. So I do have this new external microphone that I've been using, and it's been working fine up until this point, so I'm gonna have to look into that and figure out what happened. But I'm gonna be sharing what I'm reading with you guys in my vlog, so then that way you at least know what characters I'm building and what prompts I chose. Let me introduce you to my characters. And this is my main character right here. I created a chaotic good human bard. So the first thing that I wanted to let you guys know about the books that I chose are they are all books that I already owned. So I didn't want to have to go out and buy new books because I have a massive shelf full of physical TBRs that I actually have not touched in a little while. So it took me a little bit to find books that would match the prompts from what I already owned. So the characters that I created were definitely influenced by that. I usually opt for more of a rogue or a ranger, so doing a bard and being human is quite different for me, but I found that the books that I chose for it are going to be perfect. For my human attribute, I have Talking as Fast as I Can by Lauren Graham, and this is with the prompt of reading a non-fiction book. And it's a memoir, so it's going to be a relatively quick read for my first book, and I think that is a great way to start off a readathon, is with something that can be quickly read, because the rest of the books that I have here definitely aren't. For the bard attribute, I have chosen Victoria by Daisy Goodwin because the prompt for this one is to read a book that has a TV or movie adaptation. And Victoria was written by Daisy Goodwin, but also Daisy Goodwin created and writes for the show Victoria on ITV or PBS in the States, and I'm just very excited to see her novelization of the story. And then for Chaotic Good, I have An Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir, and this is because the prompt for Chaotic Good is to read a book about rebels or rebellion. And this admittedly is a reread, but I honestly don't remember much about it except for that I think I enjoyed it. So I think this is a good time to reread it, and I am very excited because I know that this has had a resurgence on BookTube and in the book world in general because of the new covers, so I can't wait to delve back into this world. This is my first character of the ReaD&Dathon. One of the challenges that we set was to create a character name out of the title of the books that you use to build your character, and this one's a little bit difficult, but I figured I have to use Victoria as the main name. So I think I'm going to go with Victoria Embercan. So I've got Thinking of As Fast as I Can, Victoria, and Ember in the Ashes. So Victoria Embercan is my main character for this campaign. Another challenge that we created was to roll for a character. So I ended up rolling for my second character, so my next set of 3 books, and that was also difficult because again I had to figure out what books I owned that fit what prompts, and I had to make sure that I rolled for books that I owned that would match with the prompts, if that makes sense. So this one was a little daunting. I did have to re-roll once because I didn't have any books that fit with the prompt, but I am still very daunted by my second character because there's some thick books here. Say hello to my secondary character, which is a lawful neutral elf ranger. Yes, I am very excited that it's a ranger, but this is gonna be, you saw the top book, right? Like that's a thick book. For elf is The Smoke Thieves by Sally Green, so I had to pick something with the prompt of reading a high fantasy. I figured I do have this because it is a YA high fantasy, so it should be a relatively quick read, but I mean, it's still a pretty big book. And it is akin to Game of Thrones, but for YA, is how it was explained to me. but I'm very excited because we do follow multiple POVs, and I feel like that is just quintessential of a high fantasy book. So I cannot wait to read this one. For Ranger, I mean, when you think Ranger, Robin Hood is the first thing that comes to mind. And this is essentially a reimagining of Robin Hood, but with the same essential premise. And then lastly here, for Lawful Neutral, I have The Rift Uprising by Amy S. Foster, and this is a sci-fi YA, so it should be another relatively quick read, but sci-fi I really find difficult to get into most of the time, so we shall see. But the prompt for Lawful Neutral is to pick a book that has a law enforcer or government agent in it, and in this one there are teenagers who are tasked with essentially enforcing the law and guarding this rift to stop dimension hoppers from coming through, but then inevitably one does and chaos ensues. So I'm very excited to read this one. So to create a character name based on these books is going to be also a bit difficult. So again, I kind of have to take advantage of having an actual name. So let's say Robin Smoke Rift. I think that's a pretty good name for a character. So Robin Smoke Rift and Victoria Embercan are my two characters for this campaign of ReaD&Dathon. We'll see if I can move on to a third character to create a full party, because that is another one of the challenges. So, I don't know how that's gonna go though, because this week I just started a new job, and yeah, this might not have been the best time to start a readathon, but I was just too excited and I couldn't wait. And Tara is going to have baby number 2 basically anytime this month, so we kind of had to get this going. I'm going to make dinner, get comfy, and then settle in for a night of reading. But you know what? This is ReaD&Dathon, and there are levels involved, so technically I'm starting at a level 1, so I think I should have better attire for a level 1 character. Let's see what I can do here. So here is my slightly better than level 1 attire, because technically I have some XP that bumps me a little bit beyond a level 1. So I have a cozy sweater, along with some very appropriate PJ bottoms and cozy reading socks. It is just about 9 o'clock, and I'm going to be starting some reading sprints soon with anybody who's following along on Twitter, and I'm finding that I'm going to really like the sprints because it's going to make me focus and just read. But I just heard my tea go off, so I'm going to pour myself a huge cup so then that way I can settle in for at least 3 hours. I think going to bed around midnight will be okay. And then I'm going to try and sleep in tomorrow because I do have some stuff to do. But the first book that I'm going to read is Talking as Fast as I Can by Lauren Graham. And this one, like I said before, is for my race, and that is human, and that is to read a nonfiction book. So, I'm going to be reading Talking as Fast as I Can. It is about 240 pages, I believe. So I think this is going to be easily read tonight, and having one book down in the first day when I haven't been able to read all day is going to be perfect. Also, you probably don't know about where I'm at. It has been like negative 30 degrees all week, and that's pretty dang cold. It's too cold for snow to fall. So I have decided that my background ambient music whilst I'm reading is going to be Moana and Beach Wave ambient music. I just finished sprint number 1, and I think it went fairly well. I'm at page 28 right now in Talking as Fast as I Can, and I'm enjoying it so far. I really want to get more into it just because I didn't realize just how much Lauren Graham is actually like Lorelai Gilmore, because her writing, I usually don't like stream of consciousness writing in fiction, but in nonfiction I just think it's really, really relatable. So I like how for the first few chapters of this book that is what she's doing, and it still flows. Like there was a couple times that I was a little bit surprised at the jump, but it kind of works. So I'm excited to read more and get into her life a little bit more, because already so much has happened to her from childhood to being a teenager and starting acting and everything. So it's all very interesting. I have also changed the music that I'm listening to because I did not realize that there were actual words and vocals to the Moana one, so I am now watching the Rivendell one. And it's very beautiful and very peaceful, but now I'm going to get back to reading. I don't know if I'm going to run another sprint tonight, but I am definitely going to read a lot more. I'm getting lower and lower on this couch the longer I read. It is 11 o'clock now, and I'm about a third of the way into my first book. I was definitely expecting to get further along than I have, and I think it's because I update you guys and I also go on Twitter and do sprints. So I haven't fully devoted all of the time that I wanted to reading this book. So I think for the rest of the night, so for the next hour, I'm just going to commit to reading as much as I can of this book and then get to bed. So we shall see how I do and how far I get. I've gotten to the part where she starts talking about filming Gilmore Girls, and she's rewatching the first, she's rewatching all of the seasons now and talking about like behind the scenes stuff and what she enjoyed and just stuff that you never really think about when, or at least when I was watching the show many, many years ago. And it's just cool to see the insight. I'm the type of person who really loves behind the scenes stuff, and this is right up my alley. Hey guys, okay, so it is about 1:45 right now, and I can hardly keep my eyes open, so I think I'm going to call it a night with book number 1. I am exactly at the 50% mark, so I didn't quite get to finishing it like I had wanted. But it's been a long day and I really need to sleep. So I'm going to call it a night and I will catch up with you guys tomorrow. Good morning, guys. And you know what? It's technically just before noon, so I can still say good morning. This morning has been a little crazy for me. I've been up since 7:30, but have not done any reading today. I have been tidying up around the apartment and getting things that I've needed to get done for a while, or at least for this past week, done because I just haven't had any time this week to do anything once I started my new job because the hours have been a bit longer than I anticipated. But the plan for today is filming the video that I have to have go up today because the video that I have tried to film twice now and have lost the audio both times, I'm not filming that again. So I'm doing a totally different video, very simple, very quick one. So then that way I can get it up today for you guys. So it's Saturday now, so it'll have been up already. And I'm excited about it because it's just talking more about this ongoing thing that a couple of my friends and I are doing, which, if you haven't heard yet, is a book club. And we did a soft launch of it in January with our first book pick, and now we have book pick number 2. So I'm excited to talk more about that. But I have to film that now, edit it, upload it, and then I have to run some errands today. I have to go to David's bridal because I have to finalize everything for my bridesmaid's dress for one of my best friend's weddings. And then I think I can finally come home and do some reading. So that is my plan for today. Like I said, it's just before noon, so I've got the rest of the afternoon and evening to get everything done and read. So that is my update for today. I hope everybody's first day of the ReaD&Dathon went well. I know that a couple people have already finished book number 1, which I am so happy for them for because I obviously did not finish my first book. But I'm really, really happy with everybody who is participating in this readathon with myself and Tara. So we've been following along on Twitter and on Instagram, and it's just great seeing the interaction with everybody. And I really hope that this ends up growing even more because it's a lot of fun already. So I'm going to get to filming, let you guys go, and I guess see what happens with the rest of the day. I just got home from doing all my errands. It is about 20 to 4 now. So it's about the timing that I was expecting it would be for me to actually go and do everything. But I have everything figured out. I've got my bridesmaid's dress all picked up and set. Well, not picked up, but picked out and set. Today's video uploaded while I was out, and I ended up going to Chapters because I had a gift card from Christmas, and sometimes they release books early. And there are a couple books coming out on Tuesday that I wanted, so I went. And one of them was already out on the shelves. So I'm very excited that I have Enchanted. I've been seeing this all over the internet, and I've been looking forward to having it for so long. and it's finally mine, and it's beautiful. So now that's just gonna sit on my shelf whilst I do everything else for the readathon. I did not end up bringing my camera into anywhere that I went because I'm a horrible vlogger. But you know, it's probably just as well because I'm really socially awkward. But now I'm just going to double check a couple things on today's video and then probably make an early dinner because I haven't eaten since earlier this morning, and then finally read. And I know that Tara's been running some sprints, so I should be able to participate in a couple of those tonight, and yeah, finally finish book number 1. I am settling in for the rest of the evening to get in a lot of reading. And when I say rest of the evening, I mean it is almost 6:30 and I still haven't read today. So that is my plan for the rest of the evening now. So until probably around midnight, I want to be reading, and I'm making a huge pot of mint chocolate tea, so then that way I can stay up as late as possible and be nice and cozy and warm, because it has gotten oddly chilly. Like, today was one of the warmer days in the past week, and it was still in the negatives. I have decided to put on a new set of ambient music, and it is Harry Potter themed, and it's Hagrid's Hut. So it's a bunch of Harry Potter instrumental music whilst watching Hagrid's Hut at night with rain coming down and a crackling fire, and I just think that it is going to be perfect to stay cozy. Update time! I am on about page 145, so I don't have too much left to go in this book, but I just finished running a reading sprint over on Twitter, and ironically, right as the Twitter sprint was ending, I was just starting to read a section of this book where Lauren talks about the kitchen timer idea for writing, and she was just getting into the details of what it means, but it's essentially sprinting, setting a timer, putting everything down, and just focusing on writing or reading, in my case. So I think it's funny that I was finishing a sprint while she's talking about another form of sprint. And the more I think about the way that she writes this book, it's kind of like she's just talking to a friend. When I was originally reading this and thinking that it was like stream of consciousness, which it is kind of stream of consciousness, but it's more so how you talk to your friends. So I just really like that it's almost like Lauren Graham is my friend, and I'm okay with that. Who wouldn't want her to be a friend of theirs? But I did just want to say, I'm at the point in the book where Lauren is talking about the reboot for Gilmore Girls, A Year in the Life, and it makes me so nostalgic because I loved Gilmore Girls when I was younger and was so sad when it ended, and then hearing that it was getting picked back up again, I was so excited, and obviously I'm learning a lot about what happened behind the scenes and how it got made and everything that went into it. But I just wish that I liked the 4 episodes of Year in the Life more. Because I'm not sure who out there that's watching this is a fan of Gilmore Girls, but I feel like the characters were not the characters anymore. Like, Rory and Lorelai changed way too much to the point where they didn't even resemble their original characters anymore. And I feel like the writers forgot who the characters were, essentially. And reading this book, and reading, well, this particular section of this book, really makes me wish that I enjoyed it more, because obviously it means so much to the actors who are on the show, and particularly for Lauren Graham. She talks about how emotional it is saying hi to a character that she's known for years but hasn't really seen for years, if that makes sense, and how she was constantly crying out of gratitude and out of just feeling so great about being back in that world. But I still don't like the 4 episodes, and it just makes me feel so bad because I know how much effort went into it and how much love went into it, but I just didn't like it. So, I don't know, like, if the reboot keeps happening, and if they do make another set of 4, like, mini movies on Netflix, I don't know if I'm going to keep watching it because, yeah, I didn't enjoy it. But I'm only saying that because this particular thing popped up in the book where she's talking about making it and everything. All that being said though, I did already cry a little bit as she was talking about part of the reboot, because she was talking, there was one paragraph that she was talking about entering the Grand Gilmore house for the first time and how the lack of Ed Herman being there, who played her dad, Richard Gilmore, the lack of him there was such like an emotional moment for her, and just the way that she described it, it just really made me super sad, because Ed Herman, he was amazing, he was such a great actor, and obviously not having him in the reboot was felt by a lot of people. But then how Kelly Bishop, who played Emily, how she started off the scene with just like calling out to him, saying, "Ed, I know that you're here with us," and all of that. And it made me really emotional. So I just thought that I would share that before I got back into reading. I have officially finished book number 1. So I have 50 XP that I have just earned by finishing this book. And it is later than I expected. It's about 9:15. And I might take a little reading break before I get into the next book. But I just wanted to give you guys an update that I am done. Alright guys, so in the event that at the end of this readathon, I say that I didn't read as many books as I was hoping to, come back to this day, oh, tea's done, come back to this day and tell me don't watch the Sex and the City movie, you should read instead. But I made the detrimental mistake of going onto Twitter and someone posted a tweet with a gif from this movie, and it's a scene with Charlotte and Carrie, and now I just feel like really watching this movie again. I don't remember most of it. It's been a long time since I watched it. I should be reading, that's a sign that I should be reading, but I'm going to watch a movie instead. But here's the good thing, tomorrow I'm not going anywhere, I'm just going to be reading all day. I have to do a little bit of laundry, but I'm just going to read all day. So I feel like this is allowed. Yeah. Good morning guys, and welcome to the reason that I usually put my hair up. Because this is a mess. It is day 3 of the ReaD&Dathon. It is the morning time. I did allow myself to sleep in a little bit because that movie didn't end until like almost 1 o'clock, so I definitely need to catch up on some sleep. And now I think I'm going to make some brunch and watch a little bit of YouTube before I settle in for the rest of the day of just reading. And laundry. I have to do some laundry too. But yeah, that is kind of my plan for today. So I think book number 2 is going to be Victoria by Daisy Goodwin. So this is my Bard read. So this is my class. And that is because it is a book with a movie or TV adaptation, and in this case it essentially is both, because there are a bunch of movies about Queen Victoria, but this is also written by the same person who created and wrote the Victoria ITV series. But for now, yes, I'm going to make some brunch, so I think that is going to be possibly bacon and eggs, because it's Sunday, so why not go all out, and then just relax. I am back in my cozy spot on the couch with book number 2, and it's about 400 pages, so we shall see how far I get today. Update for Victoria. I'm about a third of the way through. I'm into section 2 of the book on page 153, and I am really, really enjoying it. The way that Daisy Goodwin is able to weave like storyline and historical fact and accuracy is just amazing. And I look like a mess right now, so that is why you are just looking at the book, but it is a gorgeous cover, so there's that. But I am really, really enjoying this. I'm definitely going to have to pick up more of Daisy Goodwin's work, because just the way that she flows the story together is lovely. I'm going to read a little bit more, go to bed, but I figured I would just sign off now, because I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to stay up. So this is the end of day 3 of the ReaD&Dathon. It is pretty much the end of my day here on day 4 of the ReaD&Dathon, because today has just been one of those days, but I'm settling in for the rest of the evening. It's a little late, but I'm settling in for the rest of the evening to read more of Victoria, which hopefully I can finish tonight. I have about 100 and a little bit pages left, but I kind of wanted to check in because something just sort of occurred to me. So with regards to all of the films and everything on Victoria, all of the biographies and things like that, I feel like things are more easily written about her because she kept a journal for pretty much her entire life. So there's a lot to draw from, and there's a lot of accuracy in that. I mean, it might be skewed to what she experienced because it's her journal and her thoughts, but there's still a lot that gets pulled from that that is obviously usable. So in things like the show or this book, for example, I knew that it pulled from her journals, and I know that her journals are available online for anybody to read pretty much, and that they're infamous. However, there was just a line that I read in here that sort of changed my perspective on that a little bit, and now I feel like it's kind of an invasion of privacy in a way, because in this book, I'm at the stage right now where she's about 19 years old, and she falls in love for the first time, and something happens between her and a man that is embarrassing for her. And then on the way back in her carriage, she has the thought that thankfully it's only between the two of them because they were the only two that were there, so nobody else has to know of her embarrassment. But that's not really true anymore, because presumably that is something that was pulled from her journal, which is essentially her diary. So now the entire world, anybody could know about this intimate embarrassment that she had. So I'm kind of conflicted now, because yes, it's fascinating, and I really love the idea of the monarchy, and I like learning about the history, but I'm learning about that history from a young girl's diary. And now that I'm thinking of it like that, it's kind of messing with my brain a bit more, because if you can imagine keeping your own diary for years, and then when you die, it's just available for anybody to read. Like, you could put your most intimate details in there, and anybody would have access to it. So now that's just a whole other layer to reading this, but I will say I am very much enjoying it, and I feel like this is going to be a 4-star read for me. But yeah, I just needed to voice that on here because that line just happened and it just completely flipped things around for me. Even though ultimately I knew all of this, it just didn't click in that way until I read that line. So yeah, I just thought that I would share that. But for now, I'm going to get back to reading and see how much more I can get through. Alright, it's about 10:30 and I just finished Victoria by Daisy Goodwin. I was really curious as to where she would end the story, and I think she ended it at a perfect moment. So this is book number 2 for Bard, which is to read a book with a movie or TV adaptation. So I can give myself 50 XP just to add to my leveling up abilities. And yeah, this was a great second book. My first 2 books of the readathon done, and I'm really happy with both of them. So I think for now I need to get my lunch ready for work tomorrow and get ready for bed and pass out because I am tired and I have to be up at 5:30 tomorrow? Yeah, so I need to get to bed, but book done! It is day 6 of the ReaD&Dathon, and honestly, Tuesdays for me are pretty much a write-off because I worked 12 hours and by the time I got home, I kind of just wanted to go to bed, so I didn't get any reading. But tonight, I should be able to have maybe an hour or 2 that I can read, and I'm going to be moving on to book number 3, which is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir, and this is going to be for the chaotic good alignment, which is to read a book about rebels or rebellion. And I've also been doing some reading sprints with everybody on Twitter, and I just love seeing everyone's comments and how everybody's getting along with their reading, so I'm just so happy with how much more of a success this is the first round than I initially anticipated, or I should say for campaign 1. But yeah, I just got home from work, like literally just stepped in the door, so I'm going to make myself some dinner and then just unwind for a little bit, and then I can get into reading. Already reading the first couple of chapters, it's sounding very familiar to me, but I know that the majority of this story is just going to be quite the adventure, so I am excited to be reading it. I might do a little bit more before I go to bed, but it has been a long couple of days, so I am really excited to sleep, but I just thought that I would give you an update before I pass out for the night. So that's where I'm at right now, about 32 pages into An Ember in the Ashes, and yeah, let's see how I do tomorrow. So it is about 8 o'clock now on Thursday. It has been a crazy week so far, but I came home from work, managed to have some dinner and watch a little bit of YouTube. I caught up on last night's episode of Burden of Truth, and now I think I'm going to be able to read for the rest of the night. My game plan is to maybe read until 10 or 10:30 and see how far I get. I'm currently on page 32 because I got so tired last night that I could just hardly keep my eyes open. So you're getting another evening update because I can't really update you in the morning because I leave for work so early, and by the time I get back I kind of just want to unwind. So another evening update. Tomorrow is going to be a little bit better because I have a slightly shorter day at work, but when I get home I'm going to have to film Saturday's video, edit it, upload it, and then I'll be able to get to reading. So most of my reading honestly happens on weekends because during the week I just don't have much time with work. So this is sort of how my life is. Something that I have noticed with this book is things are happening really quickly, really conveniently so far, and I kind of want a little bit more difficulty for our two main characters, and I don't know if I want them to cross paths or not, because I feel like when I read this book the first time I was really all about Leia's point of view, but now I'm really into Elias's point of view. Like, I feel like I'm waiting for his chapters more because I just find him a little bit more interesting and a bit more well realized. I will say as well, one thing that I am noticing is that backstory is being handled very well. So while it is still a little bit like it's just info dumping, it's not info dumping in too bad of a way, if that makes sense. The way that she's describing their pasts and everything does make sense, and it really informs on their characters, which is really the main point of it, so I think that she's doing that in a good way. But yeah, things are just moving at a breakneck speed. Like, people are being found, and prophecies are kind of happening, for lack of a better word, so I just hope things keep going at a good pace, but aren't as convenient, if that makes sense. It's getting late. I have to get ready for bed. Happy Friday! It is officially Friday. We are one full week into the readathon, and I'm feeling pretty good about things. But now it is officially my weekend, and I had planned on filming tomorrow's video today, but after work, I kind of just want to relax. So even though it's about 4:30, I'm going to change into PJs because I want to get comfy for the rest of the night, and then I'll film, edit, and upload the video tomorrow, which shouldn't be too long because it is just my wrap-up for January. So yeah, I think that is a good plan because I really just need to relax and unwind and take it easy. This weekend, I really don't have much. I mean, I do have to clean and do laundry, just typical taking care of the house type things, and I need to do a module for work, so I have to do a couple hours there. I want to get my taxes information ready, and I think that's the majority of my weekend. So the rest of it is just going to be reading, so I'm very excited about that. But for now, I'm going to change, get super cozy, and just relax. Oh, hi there. Update time. It is about 9:45-ish. No, it is 10 to 10. And I am 130 some odd pages into Ember in the Ashes. I was just about to call this Reaper at the Gates. Definitely not this book. And I can't decide if I'm really super into it or not, because I'm still really only focusing on, well, I'm still really only into Elias's sort of storyline. So we shall see. The more I'm into part 2, so there's a couple of things that are happening in part 2 that, again, my memory is starting to jog at. So I'm thinking what I thought I remembered during part 1, I think is accurate, if that makes sense. It is about 1:45 and I think I'm gonna call it a night. I am a little over halfway through the book. I'm about page 276 and I'm still in part 2 technically. It's still kind of okay. It's not really blowing me away. I'm kind of hoping that this last third is going to go along better. But right now I'm kind of just in the mood to finish it because I really want to move on to the next book. I feel like this has taken me just ages to read. But I don't know, not too much more to update on. I still kind of have the same thoughts and opinions on it as I did a couple hours ago. So I think for now I'm just going to, like I said, call it a night, go to bed, and then hopefully sleep in tomorrow and get some more reading done. So that is my update for the night, and I guess I will talk to you guys at some point tomorrow. Welcome back to where I normally sit and read. I just finished reading An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir, which fulfills the challenge of reading the alignment of chaotic good, which is to read a book that has rebels or deals with a rebellion, and I think this was a really perfect choice for that prompt. But even better than that, A, it gives me 50 XP, and B, it bumps me up to my next level. So I've officially finished character number 1, and that was, what did I say that name was? Victoria Embercan. Character 1 complete. Overall, I would say this is about a 3-star read. It was fun. It was an interesting read. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. So yeah, probably just a middle-of-the-road read for me, but I can understand why so many people are in love with this series. I'm moving on to book number 4 for the readathon, which is The Smoke Thieves by Sally Green, and this is for the race of elf, and that is to read a high fantasy book. So this is a fairly big book, and that just comes with the package when you read a high fantasy. It is, however, a YA high fantasy, so I feel like it's going to be a much quicker read than if I were to, say, read the next John Gwynne. So I'm settling in with my Harry Potter Dumbledore's Office ambient music, and I have a question, because page 1, they say pernickety. Is the term not persnickety? Am I crazy? Isn't it persnickety, not pernickety? I'm only a couple of chapters into The Smoke Thieves, but I just have to say, it has been a very long time since I insta-loved a character, and this book has broken that streak of not having insta-loved a character, and that character is Ambrose. I love him already. I loved him before I even finished reading his first page of his first POV chapter. He's just great. I can't wait to get back to his chapters because I just think that he is a really awesome character and a real good guy, and I insta-love him. I gotta say, there is already so much that's happening. It's quite graphic in some of the instances. Like, chapter 2 was talking about an execution and the stuff that happened to this woman before and during and after her execution. I could really visualize it. It's pretty intense. Already there's demon hunting and court intrigue and all the different POVs are so different. I'm really liking this. I feel like this is the type of YA fantasy that I have been waiting for quite some time. I'm really excited, so I'm gonna get back to it, but I just thought that I would give you an update because Ambrose right now is everything for me. Good morning, guys. It is Sunday, what day is it today? The 10th, so it is day 10 of ReaD&Dathon, and today I'm starting out with a much needed workout. I have been up since about 7:30 and I've just been catching up on social and that sort of thing, as you do. And now I'm going to be getting in my workout and tidying up a little bit because yesterday I did some, but not all of what I wanted to do. And then I think it's just reading for the rest of the day, which I'm so excited about because I'm hoping to get at least half of the Smoke Thieves. That's what it is that I'm reading. I'm hoping to get at least half of that done today because I feel like I'm just going to fly through it. So I'm going to challenge myself to do that. Update time. I have done all of my morning stuff. It's just afternoon now, and I'm finally getting to actually filming today's video, so then that way I can get it up hopefully before dinner time. But it's just going to be a really super chill video, which it's already up on my channel, so just take a look at the link or card or whatever above my head if you want to see. But this is my January wrap up, and I'm just going to be sitting on the floor for this one because I need to devote as much time to reading as possible during this readathon. So I'm just going to get to filming now, be super quick about it, get it up for you guys, and then I can get back to reading. So that is the game plan for now, and I will catch up with you guys probably once it's uploaded. Today's video is filmed, edited, and is uploading right now to YouTube, so I got it all done. I got everything done that I needed to do this weekend, officially, and it is just about 4 o'clock, so I think I've made some pretty good time today with everything that I was able to do, and I'm gonna get into reading in a little bit. I did not have any lunch though, so I should probably have some lunch, and then I can get into reading for the rest of the night. You will find a theme with me and reading is that I can't really fully immerse myself in the reading and really get invested in it until I have basically everything else done for the day. I need it to be where reading is literally the only thing I have to do for the rest of the day, and then that's when I fully devote myself to it and I find it most enjoyable. So now that basically everything is done that I needed to get done, I can fully enjoy reading. So I'm really pumped about that. It is just about 11 o'clock. I thought I would give you an update. I have allowed myself to get distracted by YouTube, which is awful, I know. I'm only about 110 pages into the Smoke Thieves. So I think I'm going to, normally I'm trying to get ready for bed by now, but I think I am going to give myself another hour to read because, well, I was watching YouTube and I was chatting with some of my friends, so I just got distracted all over. So I'm going to try for maybe an hour-long reading sprint and then get ready for bed, and hopefully it'll be probably around midnight by the time that happens because it's about 10 to 11 right now. So I just thought that I would give an update. I am still really enjoying this book, even though I've only read like 50 more pages of it. But I think it is very interesting. The different points of views are so different. I feel like I've said that already, but they are so different. Like, you can definitely tell which character is which, who they are as a person in general, and where their loyalties lie, and what is happening with them is also different, that I'm just excited to see where each of their storylines go. And it's not often that there is a book with multiple points of views that I genuinely am invested in each one, and so far this book I am invested in each character. I'm not rushing through chapters to get to a character's point of view that I enjoy more. I'm just in general really enjoying this book. Wow, okay, and just like that, it is the last day of the ReaD&Dathon. Things have been a little bit crazy for me. I'm just getting home from work now. Pretty much the last few days have been essentially a write-off just because of work and other things that have come up that have prevented me from reading. So I'm still about halfway through The Smoke Thieves by Sally Green, and that was the first book of my second character. So I don't think I'm going to have it finished by tonight, but I don't know. We'll see. I'll get in a little bit of reading. I do have to make dinner. I am just getting home from work. Like, I just walked in the door, and I am very much needing to have something to eat and just unwind for the day and just take it easy. But I don't know, the last few days of this readathon have not gone well. So I don't know, we'll see what I can do today to make up for it. But for now, I'm going to put on cozy clothes and make some dinner and just catch up on all my messages that I'm getting right now, and we'll see how it goes from there. Hey guys, okay, so it is quite the ending of the ReaD&Dathon. I will be sure to do a full wrap-up probably tomorrow or Saturday, just because it is almost 11 o'clock tonight. And I did not finish my last book. I am on page 265 right now of the Smoke Thieves, and I am basically at halfway. I am still really enjoying it. I'm having a lot of fun with this one. My only issue right now with it is the character of Tash. I feel like she's very one note, and I'm kind of hoping that things improve with her, just because I'm kind of sick and tired of her talking about the boots that she wants all the time. It's halfway through the book, and every chapter she just wants her dang boots. I just don't care about that. But all the other characters have really interesting story arcs, and I am really intrigued to see how and where this story is going, because there's just so much that could be done, and I know that right now there's like a war invasion kind of thing that could be happening. So there's a lot for this story to say and a lot for it to do. But all that being said, obviously I'm not done the book, so I have not finished it in time for the end of ReaD&Dathon, which is kind of a bummer, but also with the way that the last week has been going, I kind of saw that coming. And today after work, I really did not have the brain power to devote to properly reading. And this is where I'm at now. Hey guys, so remember that time I said that I would probably catch up and do my wrap up a couple of days later? It's now been almost 2 weeks, but it's going to be a really quick wrap up because you guys have seen everything that I have read during this readathon, the ReaD&Dathon Campaign 1, and I do have to say, so many people participated and so many people expressed interest in participating next time because they didn't realize that it was happening until it was too late. So we are definitely going to be doing a Campaign 2. We're just working on the level system and everything like that, and I'm so excited, but it's going to happen, so stay tuned. But in the meantime, I'm going to quickly go over my reads for Campaign 1 for ReaD&Dathon. Book number 1 for my main character is Talking as Fast as I Can by Lauren Graham, and that's for the race of human. I really did enjoy this book. I think that it was so fun to read her thoughts about growing up, being an actor, being a writer, and being on Gilmore Girls, of course. So I had a lot of fun reading this book, and it was the perfect book to start off with. Next up, I have my class, and that was Bard. So for this one, I read, obviously, Victoria by Daisy Goodwin, and this was, I really enjoyed this one as well. I love the whole history of Queen Victoria, and being able to read a novelization of her life, or at least a portion of her life, was really, really interesting. I think Daisy Goodwin did a really good job of meshing historical fact and historical fiction and what could be assumed happened on some points, but she clearly did a lot of research, and I just really appreciated that in this writing. I can't wait to read more by Daisy Goodwin and read some more things about Queen Victoria because she's just so fascinating. And as a pretty short person myself, I feel like I need to channel my inner Queen Victoria a lot more. And then lastly, I have my alignment, which was Chaotic Good, and I ended up rereading An Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir, and this is a book that I read when it initially came out with its original cover design, and I still have it on my shelves, but I couldn't quite remember the majority of what happened in the book, so I was very happy to reread it. And as I was rereading it, in certain portions, I started to remember the storyline and the plot a lot more. So some of this I did recall and some of it I did not, but it was still an interesting read. I can see why a lot of people really enjoy it. It was enjoyable for me. I think I gave it about a 3 or 3.5 stars, just because it was enjoyable. But I don't know, I feel like it's been a little bit hyped up, and I felt like it fell a little short of the hype. So I still enjoyed it though. So that was completing my main character. My main character had 3 books and I completed them all. So I ended up getting myself 150 points, which bumped me up to level 2. Now also with the bonus challenges, I did complete a name for these books for this main character, and that was Victoria Embercan. So that bumps me up another 50 XP. So I am currently at 200 XP based on my first character. My second character that I did roll for, so that was for another challenge, so I rolled a character which gave me another 50 XP, and that I didn't end up finishing. But I still started it, and the race of my character for the second character was elf. So I read a high fantasy, and I chose, this was probably the detriment of, or this was the start of my downfall, because this book took me a really long time. It's The Smoke Thieves by Sally Green, and I thought that it would be a really quick read because it's YA, but it was still high fantasy, so it was still like 553 pages to get through, and it was during a busy work week, so it took a lot for me to read this, and this was the last book that I didn't quite finish even for the ReaD&Dathon. But it was for the race of elf for my rolled character, so I can't quite give myself the 50 XP because I did not technically finish this book. You start at level 1, so I am technically level 2 plus 50 XP, so I'm on my way. I didn't get as much reading done as I had hoped though, because I had started a new job that first week and it was not the best time to be doing a readathon. But I still had a lot of fun and some great interactions happening on the hashtag. So again, thank you so much to everybody who has participated, and thank you so much to everybody who has made it this far into the video, if you have stayed this far, obviously. If you guys participated in ReaD&Dathon, or if you are excited to participate in campaign 2, please leave a comment down below. I would love to hear the outcomes of your readathon and what you're sort of looking forward to for coming campaigns. So I guess that's where I'm going to end today's video. Thank you so much again, and be sure to like and subscribe to my channel for more videos. I do try and put out videos every weekend. I have missed 1 or 2 over the past year and a couple months, but I do try my best to make up for it. So stay tuned and make sure that you do not miss a thing, and until next time, keep reading.